So my mom was born and raised in Wahiawa, Hawaii, and my father was born in Japan. My father immigrated to Huntington Beach, California, and he worked as a sushi chef. And then my mom was a hostess at that same restaurant, and that's how they met. He actually got a job offer in Alaska, so he was like, how do I get this pretty Hawaiian girl to follow me to Alaska? So he was smart and asked her to marry him.
For the longest time, I thought I was going to be a nurse. And I remember when I was in middle school, actually, I wrote a letter to myself. And in my letter, it said, I will go to this school. I'm going to be a nurse. This is what I'm going to do when I grow up. And I remember high school graduation, I actually read that letter. And I still had those plans. I had to get straight A's to get into nursing school. And I got into it. And it was the scariest thing I've ever done because it made me realize that I didn't want to do it, and I was terrified because, oh man, I didn't want to let down my family because they were so supportive of school and everything that I've done, and I think that was my biggest worry, was just letting down my family.
So my parents were born in Mexico. My grandma was a mother of 7, and she was widowed at an early age with 7 kids. I remember stories my mom said, which tells me how strong she is and was. She just recently passed, that they told her, okay, your husband died. You can't make it here in the U.S. You don't know English. You have no education, and you're a single mom now. You're going to have to move back to Mexico. And that's all that she needed to hear, is that she can't do it. And so I think that really passed down to my mom, being a strong-hearted woman, and that's probably why the Lord gave her 5 daughters, so that she can implant that in us and just carry on the legacy of strong women.
I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, taught for 30 years. It was wonderful. I taught kids with special needs. I started in the elementary school, and then I followed my kids to high school. I still teach at the college level for Walden University doctoral students and University of Phoenix master's students. I do that online in the middle of the night or on the Kona truck if I have to.
I had a farm of 100 acres. We had 100 head of whiteface Herefords, a couple milk cows, goats, and hogs. I did all the plowing. I did the baling the hay. That was the best life, but it's hard. It's hard work, and it was time to move on. And so we decided that it was time for us to both retire and move to Florida. We just didn't know we were going to do it with the Kona truck.
I think the first introduction when Tony went up on stage, and I'm not knowing what to expect from this company, I just emptied my retirement account for her. He's talking about the company and the owners and how everyone's from different walks of life. And he was speaking to me because he said, you know, we have retirees and young college students and everybody. And then he said, and what a better career for single moms. I mean, if they can raise kids on their own and be responsible for a human being, of course they can shave ice. And I was just like, oh, I'm where I belong. I'm where I belong.
Cynthia will persevere because she knows there's nothing like taking a chance in something you truly believe in. And she truly has a why, and her why is the child that's sitting right there on her lap.
Number 1 duty is being a mom, and then, you know, everything else falls in place.
I was always interested in, you know, working for myself, starting my own business. And my job with the oil company finished, and I was doing a lot of research and business opportunities, and Kona Ice kept coming up. Well, some people down there, I can tell on the call, because I had many phone calls of you're from Alaska, are you sure you wanna do this?
Here in the frozen north, the land is barren, and food is very scarce.
Well, I think the misconceptions that people have is that it's cold, so people won't buy cold flavored desserts. But Alaska has one of the highest per capita consumption of ice cream. So, I mean, we're hardy individuals. We're used to the cold.
Alyssa, she was 21 when she got in the business. She did not ask anybody for money. She saved up her own money.
She did it all by herself.
She was waitressing.
She's a hard worker.
She did it all on her own, which is very incredible.
I worked my butt off. I worked like crazy. I worked probably like 6 days a week, and like, I guess working through college and trying to pay for that at first. But then of course I didn't finish like my nursing degree because I wanted to do this. So it's kind of crazy actually.
So I went to Kona College. I learned a lot. It was also nice meeting the other franchisees because I think we're both in the same boat of like, oh God, we're doing this. What's going on? You know, we have, support from one another. And it's also nice to, I guess, to know your peers. Like, I consider them friends, like their lives too. Like how different backgrounds come to meet at this point right now and how we're both deciding to move forward on this Kona Ice boat.
Well, the story goes, we were only going to have one truck. One truck, that'll be fine. That'll be enough.
That's all we need.
Well, we were turning away a lot of business, so we knew we had to get a second truck. And then the mini for the schools. And it just snowballed from there.
When it was time to drive home and graduating Kona College, the very first time, it was the first time I stepped in the truck, in the driver's seat, and I've driven a truck before since I've worked for my dad. It was pretty emotional. I remember I hugged Tony goodbye, and he was telling me directions how to get back to the hotel, and it was kind of all a blur because I was crying and I was all embarrassed because I'm usually not an emotional person. I'm gonna start crying. This is so embarrassing. This is exactly how I felt like when I got in the truck. I was like, I remember I was saying to him, I'm like, this is so embarrassing, I'm not a crier, but it was just really overwhelming at the time. But it was also really cool because it was finally my truck after so long, so. I can't stop crying.
To be honest with you, it was a blur driving from Kentucky to Alaska. I think it was something like 4,500 miles, and we did it in 4 days. And Kona Ice was so great too. They outfitted the cab with like a blow-up mattress in the aisle, pillow, blankets, a whole like crate of Red Bulls. So we're all set.
Fit right up in front of the two front seats.
Nobody knew what Kona Ice was when we came here. It was, what are you? Who are you? Now it's, oh, hey, there's the Kona ladies.
Right.
It's much different now, and it's all because of the brand. It really is. The brand has made a big difference for everybody.
And you know that you're not only doing it for you and your family, but the great thing about Kona is giving back to the community, which I just loved.
It's the first company that I've ever seen that gives a damn.
So the give back has been probably like the greatest gift that I've had so far for doing this. When I moved back about 4 years ago to Alaska, and I felt very disconnected to the community outside my immediate family. Kona has given me a lot of experiences meeting new people and connecting with my community, and it means a lot to me because I didn't realize, I guess, how much schools and all these nonprofit associations, community organizations are hurting for money.
You know, when I answer the phone and I load ice and flavors and I'm show up, serve, take a payment, and this lady said, "You're a one-man show," and I'm like, "I'm a one-woman show, please." You know.
I really like to be the face of my truck because I like it when I do my events and I'm communicating with people through email and on the phone, and they come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you're Alyssa?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm Alyssa." And they're like, "Oh, you own this truck?" And I say, "Yes, I do." And they're so amazed by it, and it is a really good feeling.
My mom is the greatest person that I know. She's really good with people. The only thing was we had to do a little training program to get the cones just right. We had to keep doing that. But other than that, she's been great, and the customers love her. I think it's brought us closer.
We all thought it was a joke. Like, okay, you're quitting your job, you're gonna own Kona Ice? What the are you doing?
At some point, you have to be soft and motherly, and at some point, you have to be like, no, you can't take advantage of me. I'm a strong woman. I'm a business owner. I'm here to take care of business at the same time, so you won't get taken advantage of.
She did a heck of a lot of research because she's probably the sister that has a good head on her shoulders. She's always been the entrepreneur. She's always wanted to work on her own, and she has this one.
And so this career path really allowed me to be that mom and businesswoman all in one. I don't have to separate them at all.
I definitely don't have any regrets.
You can do it. Anybody can do it. Just put your mind to it. If you want it, you can do it. Do it.